Close your eyes and listen. Listen to the subtle hum of the world around you. Have you ever felt that reality is just a thin veil, a curtain drawn over something much larger, much more complex? We walk through our lives believing that things are solid, that a stone is a stone and a star is a star. But the deeper we go into the heart of the atom, the more that solidity vanishes. In the world of quantum physics, we encounter a mystery that has baffled the greatest minds for over a century. It is the observer effect, a haunting truth that tells us the universe behaves differently when it is being watched. But why? Is it possible that the universe has limits? Boundaries set by a divine designer to prevent us from breaking the very fabric of existence. In the year 2045, Dr. David Reed lived in the silence of a laboratory buried a mile beneath the earth. He was a man of shadows, a man who had traded the sunlight for the cold glow of supercomputers. David wasn't looking for fame. He was looking for a way out of his own memory. 20 years ago, a single moment changed his life. A summer afternoon, a red ball, and a younger brother who vanished into the darkness of an accident. That should never have happened. Since that day, David had been haunted by a single question. What if? He spent 2 decades building the lighthouse engine. It wasn't just a machine. It was a bridge. A bridge designed to cross the quantum threshold and observe the moments that time had already locked away. He believed he could find the source code of that tragic day. And perhaps, just perhaps, rewrite the lines of his brother's fate. To understand David's obsession, we must look back at a simple experiment from the early 1800s that changed everything. The double-slit experiment. Imagine firing tiny particles of matter at a barrier with 2 slits. Logic tells us they should pass through and hit the wall behind, like tiny bullets. But when scientists looked, they saw something impossible. The particles didn't act like bullets. They acted like waves. They existed in multiple places at once, interfering with themselves. But here is the truly terrifying part. The moment scientists placed a detector to watch which slit the particle went through, the particles changed. They stopped acting like waves and started acting like solid matter. It was as if the particles knew they were being watched. This is what David Reed wanted to exploit. He believed that if he could observe the past without the universe knowing, he could slip through the cracks of reality. But he failed to realize that the act of observation is never passive. To look is to change. The night of the breach arrived. The lighthouse engine roared like a captured star. David stood at the center of the control room, his eyes bloodshot, his heart racing. He targeted the coordinates of his childhood home. 1998. The monitors flickered, and then there he was, his brother, his small, innocent face illuminated by the golden sun of a forgotten July.
It was all for you.
I see you, David whispered. He pushed the power to 110%. He wanted to stabilize the image. He wanted to make that past moment more real than the present. Suddenly, the air in the lab began to crystallize. A massive surge of quantum feedback hit the system. The past and the present began to bleed into each other. The universe was screaming. A sound that wasn't heard with the ears, but felt in the soul. The observer had become the infected. When David finally stumbled out of the lab, he found himself in a nightmare of his own making. The city of Geneva was no longer solid. It looked like a video game that had failed to load its textures. The mountains were jagged wireframes of light. The lake was a flat, gray surface of unformatted data. He saw people walking, but they were glitching. Their bodies would stretch and distort, turning into clouds of mathematical symbols for a microsecond before returning to human form. This was the grand decoherence. By trying to monopolize the observation of the universe, David had broken the consensus reality. He had tried to be the master of the code, and in doing so, he had corrupted the file of his own existence. He was no longer a part of the grand design. He was a ghost, drifting through a world that was forgetting how to exist. David returned to his childhood home, or what was left of it. It was a shell of light and shadow. Floating in a white void, he saw his brother one last time. The boy was sitting on the grass, but he wasn't playing anymore. He was looking directly at David. The boy spoke, but his voice didn't come from his mouth. It came from everywhere. "You cannot carry the weight of the stars, David. You were never meant to." David fell to his knees. His pride, his scientific ego, his 20 years of grief, all washed away in a single wave of realization. The universe is not a machine to be hacked. It is a masterpiece to be admired. The laws of physics are not chains. They are the boundaries of love, designed to keep us safe in a reality we cannot yet fully comprehend. David didn't try to save his brother. He didn't try to change the accident. Instead, he reached for the delete command on his life's work. He initiated the total erasure. The lighthouse engine didn't explode. It simply dissolved into 1,000,000 points of light, like 1,000 fireflies returning to the night sky. The white void vanished. The gray textures disappeared. When David opened his eyes, he was sitting in a park. The sun was warm on his face. He didn't know why he was there. He didn't remember the lab, the machine, or the fracture in time. He only felt a deep, quiet, and profound sense of peace. The universe was whole again.
Because the observer had finally learned to be a witness. When you look at the stars tonight, remember David's journey. Don't try to solve the mystery. Just be grateful to be a part of it. Because the real miracle isn't that we can see the universe. The miracle is that the universe, in all its infinite wisdom, chose to be seen by us. Stay curious, stay humble, and remember, you are exactly where you are meant to be, beyond reality.